the time has come for me to attempt to crop my Eve dress. So that should really more sense. Means that it does. I knit this in the winter and I finished it just in time for New Year's, and I wore it on New Year's and I really love it. However, I realised that I would much prefer to wear this as a skirt. I just think I would get so much more wear out of this if I'm able to wear it as a skirt in the summertime. I thought I could wear it just as a dress with a t-shirt on top, but it's a little bit too warm and the sequins kind of like peek through the t-shirt, which I don't love. So I'm going to try and separate those pieces. My plan right now is to just put a couple lifelines in there, cut it, crop it, and then figure out the sort of waistband area. I haven't really got a method or idea or technique for that, if I'm completely honest, but I feel like I can just wing it. So that's what we're gonna do. My usual camera broke the other day and I just sent it off today to be repaired. So I'm using my backup camera and I cannot remember what the video quality is like on this. So if this video turns out looking awful, I do apologise. Just bear with me maybe for a couple of videos until I get my camera back. So I've kind of just like put my needle into where I think the top length is going to be enough, which is like about there. I think you can somewhat see it. There should definitely be enough for the skirt with that. I also have some yarn left over, so if I'm lacking length on either the top or the skirt bit, I can always add some on, so I'm not too worried about that. But I think I'm just gonna feed my first lifeline through. I'm not great at lifelines, to be honest. I always like lose track of which row I'm in, and then I kind of go like more diagonally down rather than straight. I think this might take a little bit longer than I thought it would, but that's fine. I'd rather do it properly and with care because I am very keen for this to work out. My inspiration for the sequin skirt vibe is very specific, and it's when my sister and I went to London to see Charlie XCX. We went to this rooftop bar the night before, and there was a woman there and she looked so cool. She wore just a plain white t-shirt, a silver sequin skirt, then maybe some boots or some trainers, I can't remember, some sunnies. She had her brown hair down and that was the outfit, maybe like a little bag or whatever. It looked so effortless, it looked so cool, but I love how she elevated the outfit with the sequin skirt. Like, why don't we wear sequin stuff more often? Why do we wait for Christmas time and New Year's time? It just looks so cool, it looks so original, and I want to be like that. I'm actually gutted I didn't like secretly take a picture of her because I can't really find like the right outfit inspo on Pinterest. I can't tell if I'm going in a straight line. I don't think I am. I feel like it looks wonky already, but then everything kind of like shifts and shakes around, so I find it quite hard. That actually worked out much easier and quicker than I thought it did, and also putting the second lifeline in was so easy because I had the first one to go off. But I think I'm just going to cut the row that's in between the lifelines all around, and then I probably just need to like pick some sequins and stuff out. I kind of try to match the lifeline mostly based on the top half, so that should really kind of like hit where I like my tops to hit. And then the skirt is already a bit too short anyways, so I think I would have to add some rows onto the skirt bit, just because I'm kind of expecting I would also need to create some kind of waistband, and whether I need to feed like an elastic through, I don't know yet. I am slightly unsure whether I need to raise the lifeline a little bit higher for the top. My belly button is like here, and that's why I usually like my tops to hit like right at the belly button, which is there, but then it does come down a bit lower. Okay, I might take a pause here and have a proper think about what I'm going to do with this skirt now. I definitely need to add some length to it. I also need to make it slimmer because right now it is pretty wide. I think I'm going to spend this evening looking at some reference photos, looking at some skirt constructions, and then tomorrow I'm going to try it on and pin, pull, tie things in place and figure out what I need to do. At the moment, I'm considering whether I need to add some short rows because it is just a rectangle, whereas I would need a bit of bum room, basically. I also would need to add some length, figure out how I'm gonna do the waistband. I think I need daylight and I need a clear mind and I need to have a little think before I make any rash decisions, because once I start adding length to it and once I start decreasing or making it tighter around the waistline, that's it, because I'm not frogging anything to do with this project. I think I've got it figured out. I took one of my skirts that I really like wearing and compared the shape to that, and I need to add about 8 more centimeters at the top, which is about 22 to 24 rows. I'm just gonna do 22, and then if I need to do more, I can add a couple more rows on. And I thought about adding like a thick elastic or a thin elastic. However, the whole thing with the elastic is I obviously have the option to create like a double knit sort of layer and I can feed the elastic through. But because I want this to be a summer skirt, I don't want that double layer. I think it will be too hot for me to wear. The other option is to sew the elastic onto the inside of the skirt, which would mean that the elastic sits right on my skin, which again, don't know if I love that. So I think what I'm going to do is knit about 11 rows in stockinette, try and decrease a little bit, not too much so it's fitted, but like enough so that I have a bit more of a shape, because like I said, right now this is only a rectangle and I need a little bit more shaping. And then for the remaining 11 rows, I'm going to do a 1x1 rib, which will give it a bit of elasticity and a bit of give. And then when I've cast off, the skirt is still going to be a little bit too wide, but I'm going to use an elastic thread rather than like an elastic band, and probably like slip crochet around the circumference of the inner side of the skirt, which will cinch it in a little bit and the elastic will give it a bit of give. That, in theory, is my plan. We're gonna see how that works out in practice, and then I need to plan out the increments in which I'm going to decrease to create the shaping. It will be a lot of trying on, I think, but that is my plan and I feel pretty confident about it. I say this now, we will see how it goes. I actually can't believe that I am voluntarily deciding to knit with this yarn again, because it drove me insane when I made this dress. It's really not a relaxing yarn combination to work with. You have to manually transfer the stitches through the fabric, and it really kind of takes a strain on your wrists and your hands as well. And I swore to myself when I finished this dress that I would never work with sequins again, but I guess this is a different scenario. I'm doing this work so I get more wear out of the piece that I have already knit. I probably wouldn't start a completely fresh new sequin project if it was down to me. I just took a very quick little break to go grab some milk for a coffee, and I had a little snack. It's always good to take breaks with the old hands. I'm also going to head to the gym in a couple hours. I'm just waiting for some washing to be done. And then, yeah, there'll be another break that I'll take. But I've knit about, let's count, 6 rows, which takes a long time. It feels like I've done 20 at this point, but this is a slow moving project, I now remember. So I still have a little bit to go. I'm aiming for 11 in the stockinette, and then I'm going to move to the knit 1 per 1 ribbing section. Good morning. I finished the skirt last night, well, almost. This is how it's looking. You can kind of see at the top where I added the 2x2 rib. I googled what was the stretchiest rib and it said 2x2, so that's what I went for. I don't know if that actually makes any difference, but that's how it looks on the inside. And there was about 3 more rows that I had to do, but I felt that it was long enough. It's still a little bit too wide for me. I'll try it on for you. This is currently the width of it, so it's still quite big, but that was my plan anyways. What I want to do now is add some elastic string. This method that I saw in a TikTok video where it gets like crocheted along the rib on the inside, and I'm probably going to do that definitely 2, but maybe 3 rows to really add quite a lot of elastic to it. I really hope it will cinch it in a little bit more. I guess I can also manually like cinch it in by skipping a few stitches. So I have these different types of elastic. These are a lot thicker, and then this one's more the kind of elastic thread that you would sew with. I don't know if these are too thick or if that actually works in my favor. I might have a go with this one first, and then if I feel that is too thick, then I can use the thinner thread. That is already working so well. Do you see how much it cinches it in? And then I can just pull it like that. I'm actually doing 1 slip stitch per 2 knit stitches and 1 chain stitch across the 2 purl stitches. I'm really cinching it and skipping some stitches, but I think I can do with tightness, and I'm just going to go around and see how it looks, and if it's too tight I can undo it and find sort of a different variation. I feel like this could potentially be too tight, but this is my first time trying it, so I guess there's only really one way to find out. This was such a success. What the hell? I am obsessed with how this fits. It's like tight enough, but not super tight. I don't love super tight clothes. I don't know if I mentioned, but I added 3 short rows at the back, which I think gives me the perfect amount of length also at the back, and it means that it doesn't like ride down on my back body, which is perfect. I like how this sits a little bit higher, and like this is the perfect outfit for it. This is exactly how I see myself wearing this, like just a white t-shirt in the summer. Let me show you the inside of it as well. So this is how the elastic looks. I didn't make it as tight in the end, so I would slip stitch 1, chain 1, slip stitch 1, chain 2, just to give me a little bit more width, and I did the same at the bottom one here. So this is how the elastic looks, and then I did add a tag at the back. I got these from Sustrainer Green, just to remember where the back is, because now that I have the short rows, obviously the back and the front are slightly different. I'm so happy with this. I feel like I'm gonna wear this so much this summer. Well, I hope at least that I do. So the next thing that I want to work on is, hello, a cat bed situation for Betty, and for that I'm going to use all of this yarn. I ordered this to try as an option for my Christmas cardigan, but I didn't like the wool. This is all lovely yarn, it just wasn't the right yarn for that project, but I think for Betty's cat house this is going to be lovely. These are two different brands. This one is Ramagarn and this one is Sandnesgarn. They're the same fiber, they're the same thickness, same gauge, so I'll just use them like interchangeably. I did look at a couple different patterns to use for this cat bed, but I honestly think I can wing it. I'm going to crochet it because it's going to be done a lot quicker, and what I'm imagining is just like a circle, and then once I get sort of a certain diameter, then I'm just going to stop increasing, I'll create the walls, and then I start decreasing to create the top, and somewhere along that I'm going to add a hole so she can enter and exit. And I'm gonna try and make it quite big. I'd rather have it too big than too small because I can always shrink it in the wash and then it will be a little bit felted as well, and she's not the smallest cat either, so yeah, I'm gonna just aim for big circle, and I'm going to alternate between these different colours. Yeah, that's the plan. Well, it has been a few days and I'm back on my old camera. Shout out to DJI. If anyone's looking for a good camera to use, I always, to all my friends and my family, always recommend the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and their customer service is amazing. So I had a 2-year warranty on my camera and it broke a couple of weeks before that warranty ran out. So I just sent them my broken camera and they sent back a whole new camera for like a £50 fee. I'm just amazed by that because that really saved me a lot of hassle and a lot of money. My energy was super low this whole week, hence the long montage of things that have happened. I have been quite busy, but at the same time kind of been struggling with, my energy for some reason. On Monday, I slept all day, which I don't do unless I'm hungover or I have a fever, and I had neither that day, so don't know what was going on. I was still, pottering about, going about my day, going to yoga, going to the gym, all that kind of jazz. I did finish the cat bed. I realised I didn't really speak about it very much because I did make this in between lots of other social events were happening. I never really got around to catching you up on it. So obviously this is the side that uses the colourful wool yarn, and then I used a bunch of drops snow that I had left over, which was supposed to be the bottom of it, and then I wanted it to be like a sort of like a dome, you know, but as you can see it kind of just deflates down, so it's not really working out how I wanted to. So I've been keeping it kind of like rolled this way, which is kind of what her other cat bed looks like this. But I'm also now thinking I might fill it out with some pillows or some kind of stuffing and turn it into like a little footstool. I don't think I would make it like super filled out, just a little bit, because then I can actually really see her lying on that. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for some pillows at the charity shop to fill this out. And then she's also a little bit elevated from the floor, which she kind of tends to prefer. I ended up putting this through 3 cycles in my washing machine to get this as felted as I can, and the drop snow just felt a lot more than this one, so it's a little bit uneven. But yeah, I think as a little footstool in this room, I think this would be super cute. I also wanted to, in this video, knit up a poncho using a bunch of old fabric scraps that I had from a project that I attempted. This is like a cotton linen blend that I got secondhand, so I have no idea what the yarn is. I have made this into a couple jumpers before that I have actually worn a lot. I just don't wear them anymore, so I want to rework them into something that I'll actually get wear out of, and this poncho has been living in my head rent-free, and I feel like this kind of material looks really similar to that. So that's what I made a start on yesterday, and I realized actually it's so unrealistic to also include this in this video because this took me all day to knit up, and I think this is about 1/4 of the total material that I need. So my plan is to make 2 rectangles the same shape, the same size, the same length, and I'm going to sew them together on 2 sides so I can just like pull it on. So it's actually like not that super interesting, but I think this will be a really fun thing for me to also wear this summer. I feel like I've achieved varying levels of success this week with my project. The skirt turned out so well and I really started it off with a bang. The crochet bed is so, you know, it's not exactly what I wanted it to be, but I can work with it. And then this is just boring. It's just going to be a big rectangle, you know, so not really that interesting to share with you. But I had a lot of fun just working on projects that are, yeah, just for fun. I'm not having to follow patterns. I'm just kind of freehanding, not needing to write down the instructions, which I tend to do because I freehand everything anyway, so I need to kind of keep track of what I'm doing. But for these projects, I just don't think that is very necessary. I am quite keen to knit another skirt maybe this summer. It's not really on my plans for this year, but maybe if I have some time somewhere, somehow, I don't think I will. If I do, then I would love to make another skirt kind of following the same silhouette, and I really like this elastic method as well. But yeah, that is everything that I have to share, can share. I hope you enjoyed this week, this video, and hopefully I will see you in another video. Goodbye.